Hey guys, when browsing over my analytics, it seems that only around 18% of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. So if you are one of the 82 percentile and you do continue to watch my videos or you're enjoying the content, please make sure to drop that subscription as well as click the notification bell. I also do stream on Twitch if you want to check me out there, but otherwise I hope you enjoy the video. Hey, what is going on everyone? My name is Cubr and today I'm just going to be simply going over the settings that I use in Bad Business that get me those 96 and 7 games or even higher sometimes depending. I have not yet actually received a 100 kill game, but you know, it's coming in the near future. But if we go ahead and just pop open the settings menu right here from the main menu here, click the settings icon or the cog wheel, you'll notice we're just given a plethora of different settings. Now, one thing I do want to note that before actually setting any of this, make sure you go to your settings and make sure your graphics quality, of course, is the highest it can be, or maybe if your computer can't handle it, maybe somewhere around here. If you go too low, it actually doesn't render the full distance in front of you. So I would definitely make sure to put it up all the way to the highest quality, at least to the most full as you can. But the camera sensitivity needs to be around 0.2 or 0.15. Now this is, of course, going to be individualistic. I also don't really exactly know what DPI my mouse is currently on, but I normally play, like, given, like, the certain type of colors. I believe it's on 800 DPI, if I'm not mistaken. But it's 0.2 camera sensitivity is what I actually have my general Roblox interface set, or my Roblox client. So just diving right into these, here, toggle sprint, toggle lean, and toggle aim. I have those all deselected, and I think that's actually by default. But essentially, if you want to have it where you press your shift key and it remains sprinting, then you want to have this checked. Now, of course, I would definitely recommend having this unchecked, and the same kind of goes for these two as well. Diving right into the camera movement, or sorry, the camera, we have field of view, which I set at a good range around 100. Now, for those of you who don't know what field of view is, it basically widens your screen, or essentially stretches where as far as you can see. So if you do enjoy playing high field of view, this, crank that bad boy all the way it can go. I think it's, 115 is more, or is the most it can go, so I just leave it right around 100. Sensitivity, aim sensitivity, and scope sensitivity, I leave all the standard and all the same at 100. Now, of course, once again, these settings are very individualistic, and you'll just need to kind of adjust to your mouse and to your liking. I'm actually an arm aimer, not necessarily a wrist aimer, so I go way slower sensitivity, whereas a wrist aimer may use quick flicks, depending on your taste, of course, there. The reticle, all right, so we have the size here. I have 8. Now, if you look down here, you have a little interface that shows you different backgrounds and such that you can actually see the crosshair on. So if we just look here, I have this on 8, but if we crank this thing up to, 100, of course, it goes all the way out. But if I set it right back down to where it was at around 8... there you go. You can see that the size of the actual length of it across the sides there. So then we can also do thickness, which is just disgusting. Of course, if you go like, you can make it just a block. Obviously, you don't want that. But yeah, of course, I leave it right at 2-ish. And then center size. Oh, I actually won the game. Nice. Anyways, yeah, so if we look at the center size and the thickness, of course, I leave both of those at 2. Center size, like I said, is kind of how spread out the kind of ticks go. I like them to be very close so I can see exactly what I'm doing. I know that in the center of this is where their head should be, in theory. I also leave it on a green color. Now, this is actually what I've always done. I also don't use a dot, by the way. You could use a dot if you wanted to, but I just choose not to. But color green, some people do blue, some people do pink. It just really depends on your preference. This is totally up to you. But once again, if you're an arm aimer, shoot for the lower sensitivity. You want this reticule to be fairly small and fairly pinpoint directly on their head. Like, having it way too spread out like this makes it a little bit challenging to actually hit their head, and just in my experience. Like I said, I like it to where it's almost precisely on where I need to aim to hit. So just going down here, scroll sensitivity, leave that the same. Toggle leaderboard, leave the same. Blood, I have those turned off for maximum FPS. Bullet impacts, I do want to see these so I can actually see exactly where the bullet impacts, specifically on the wall or anything like that. Now, super sprint effect, invert, flashbang effect, those two are completely your preference. This is basically the effect that as you're running, you kind of see these lines protruding out from all sides of your screen that actually indicate that you're sprinting faster and like a quicker motion, kind of like a blurrish effect, if you will. I go ahead and disable that. Now, it doesn't actually blur, but I'm saying, like whenever you're running, it's blurring around you. That's kind of what it's attempting to give you that kind of feel. So yeah, I actually just leave all of these off except for bullet impacts, just for an increase in FPS, just wherever you can, of course. Now movement, this is pretty important here. Now obviously up, down, left, right, no one ever uses that. In any pro league, I've never actually seen anyone who actually played with up, down, left, right. There's just not enough keys near to those arrow keys to where it actually makes it functional. So of course WSA or DA here, or WASD key configuration is pretty optimal for most left-handed keyboard usage. But of course, if you're right-handed, this will need to be adjusted maybe to IJKL. I have heard of that, or have seen that before as well. So of course, your mouse is used by your left hand and your keyboard's on your right. You just kind of want to focus on maybe IJKL, I believe is what the standard configuration is. But something I did want to really note here, and that has really increased my game, is that I actually deselected sprint and have the left shift as my super sprint. Now obviously what this ends up doing is that you actually can't just regularly sprint anymore. But I don't know about you guys, my pinky likes to lock up double shifting every single time I want to start sprinting. So I just said, screw it. I don't even ever actually sprint anyways. I always go for the super sprint. I just kind of attach the left shift to this. And this is a pretty common pattern that you'll see among a lot of kind of bigger players in the arena. But I did want to mention, if you do deselect sprint from your left shift, this will actually give you, you'll actually lose the ability to lean as you're sprinting. Now, whether or not this is a game breaker for you is completely up to you. I don't actually lean all that much in this game. Of course, it is very vital if you want to go down that route, but I just don't use it as my playstyle. Crouch, of course, C, prone, X, lean right, lean left, of course, E and Q. All that's pretty much standard. Another thing I did want to mention here, also, everything here with the weapon stuff is standard except for quick melee. So for those of you who may play Halo or any type of game where you kind of have a melee involved, it's normally the key directly next to the D, or maybe even sometimes whenever you're throwing grenades, F is for frag. I have seen that before as well in some key configurations, but F is a really quick melee. I believe the default one is V for this. V is a little bit of a stretch with the index finger trying to go all the way over to V, so F just seemed like a very suitable replacement for this, and I have actually increased my knife kills considerably after doing this. So hopefully you guys did find this valuable. Like said, this is just all of my key configurations. This is what helps me get all those really high kill games, because most of the time I am getting 70 plus kill games. And this is kind of the strategy that I've outlined in terms of movement and camera and reticule and, of course, miscellaneous effects and movement, weapons, and miscellaneous again. So, hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, please make sure to drop a like as well as click that subscription button. And if you want to see more videos about Bad Business, please make sure to stay tuned. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you enjoyed the video.